Sub! You will not believe the news I have for you. Piggy Book 2 Chapter 2 has just come out, and it's awesome. It sure is a shame that your regular narrator isn't here to see it, but that's not important right now because there's no way I'm waiting to cover this chapter. It's got awesome Easter eggs all over it, a super long, theory-provoking, fact-finding cutscene, and so much more. So, how about you show us 15 things you didn't know about Piggy Book 2 Chapter 2 in Roblox? Number 1. Dessa Deer. I'm not sure where to start, Sub. There's just so much new stuff in this chapter for us to cover. How about the new character? It only makes sense, right? Speaking of which, they're coming right for us. Dessa Deer meets Sub. Sub, meet Dessa Deer. Dessa Deer is the Piggy bot for Book 2, Chapter 2 of Piggy. They're a never-before-seen infected character. Although we may not have seen them up until now, there's no guarantee we won't see them again. Speaking of again, next time you're buying Robux again, make sure to enter the star code SUB at checkout. That way you can help support the channel, meaning we can make more videos just like this one. Number 2. Battery Collector. This chapter is totally different to any other chapter we've ever seen before, and it's not because Pony actually moves stuff in this one, or even that he won't oof Piggy for a carrot. It's that there's no white key required. Instead of a white key, hammer, and wrench, all you need are 2 batteries. Once you've given them to Zizzy, the exit will be opened right up. What do we need the batteries for, you ask? Well, we don't know yet. Well, we do because we've already finished the chapter, but that's not the point. Next! Number 3. Metro. While I was looking around the map, Sub, there was one piece of wall art in particular that caught my attention, and it's this. It looks just like a regular sign, right, Sub? Well, I noticed it said Metro and then Station 7. Now, I'm not sure if you remember, Sub, but Metro was Chapter 7 of Piggy Book 1. This could just be a coincidence, but I think that this is an Easter egg Minitoon has left in for us to find. Hey, are you enjoying Sub's Piggy Book 2 journey so far? Well, we have no plans of stopping, so make sure you're subscribed. That way, you'll be the first to know about all of Sub's future uploads. Number 4. Multi-Purpose Scissors. In Chapter 1 of Book 2, we saw the introduction of the scissors tool into the game. It allowed us to cut through the police caution tape and continue making progress on our escape. Well now, Sub, they've been given another purpose because they can now be used to cut the grass inside of the supermarket. Best of all, you might find all sorts of goodies under there, from keys to, more grass? Number 5. Anonymous Note. Usually, notes are our ticket to finding more about the lore side of Piggy, and just what might be going on behind the scenes that we're never clearly told. But this note just left me totally confused. It reads, "Looks like others have taken the supplies here before us. Better luck next time, I guess." But who wrote it? We have no way of knowing since it's not signed. Odds are, it was someone looting the supermarket just like us. Number 6. Radio Engineers. It's now time to reveal the grand secret, Sub, the biggest secret in the world. We're gonna finally find out just why you needed to collect those 2 batteries. And the reason is to fix a radio. Yeah, that's it. Just fix a radio. However, Sub, it's way more interesting than it sounds, since this is a radio that allows you and the gang to contact the outside world. Speaking of contacting the outside world, Sub is constantly trying to show people his Roblox tips and tricks. Make sure to like the video so that more people see it and can become Roblox pros. Number 7. Making contact. As luck would have it, you find someone on the radio almost immediately. You don't know how they are as of yet, but what you do know is that they want to trade resources. Since they have resources you might need, it would benefit you to go and trade with them. But what if they're not trying to trade at all? What if they're evil? Number 8. Hideaway. It's important when listening to these lengthy conversations to not just take them at face value. Instead, think about what each character is saying and why Minitoon would have them say that. Well, one secret clue you might have missed in this conversation is that they said they've been hiding in this safe house for months, meaning they've most likely been here since the end of Chapter 12. That's a super long time, sub! Number 9. Trust your gut. Once presented to them, the idea of the gang leaving their safe house was immediately frowned upon. Everyone seemed to be aware of the dangers of the outside and what might happen, or at least Pony did. But after all this disagreement, they finally go against their better judgment and decide to meet up with this team on the radio. Speaking of team, one game you'll definitely need for your team is Jerry. Jerry is a team-based multiplayer survival horror game all about escaping an ice cream factory made by Sub himself. Make sure to check it out on Roblox today. Number 10. Troubling Timeline. So, Sub, it's been pretty much confirmed now that Book 2, Chapter 1 was in fact a flashback from before the infection had fully taken over and had only taken a few people. But Book 2, Chapter 2 takes place several months after, not just Book 2, Chapter 1, but also Book 1. This timeline is all over the place, Sub. I'm struggling to keep up. We know this since they mentioned fighting off an army of piggies, just like at the plant. Number 11. Surprise Attack. So, Sub, against your better judgment, you show up to the meeting spot, Old Oak, and unsurprisingly, nobody was there until suddenly some people did show up. But let's just say they weren't the friendliest of people, Sub, because they were actually Willow's evil gang, Silver Paw. They hadn't come here to trade, they were here to steal and attack you and your friends. But, Sub, possibly the biggest discovery of them all is that Willow's gang could in fact be TSP. TSP, the Silver Paw. It all makes sense now. That's why TSP's notes are so evil, because it was an evil gang leaving them all around. Number 12. Character Reveal. Once you're surrounded, Willow begins explaining just how she knows each of us. Of course, we arrested her in Chapter 1, but the way Willow describes it is rather strange. She describes it as being ripped away from her family. Does this mean Rash, Daisy, and William are part of Willow's family? I think that'd be a pretty good guess, Sub, but then she mentions something really shocking. She says Pony was previously a member of her evil gang, and finally, she mentions that she's never even seen Zizzy before. Do you have any Piggy Book 2 Chapter 2 theories of your own? If so, make sure to tell us about them in the comments. Maybe together we can crack the case. Number 13. Pandy. Pandy, as of right now, appears to be a side character. They appear as a member of Willow's gang, but don't talk to us directly. They've also been added as a brand new playable piggy skin. Previously, when a character is added as a skin, it means we won't be seeing any more of that character in the story, just like Mr. P at the end of Chapter 12, and that's the same reason Willow hasn't been added yet. Number 14. Evil Willow. Finally, Sub! Our suspicions have been confirmed. Ever since the trailer for Piggy 2, we've been attempting to figure out just whether Willow would turn out to be an evil character or a friendly one. And we now know that she is in fact evil. Not only did she threaten Pony with a gun, but she also took our good friend Zizzy away, and Pony describes what they used to do as awful things. Number 15. Backstory. Once the Silver Paw had left, Pony tells us more about the gang forming at the beginning of the infection and how they used to do awful things. So that got me thinking, Sub, what sort of awful things did they do? Awful things like a raid at a hospital, perhaps? Or maybe awful things like lock Foxy in a cage and get them infected. I really think the Silver Paw might just be TSP, Sub. See, Sub? I told you this chapter was awesome. I, for one, feel like it's thrown a complete spanner in the works to what I and a ton of other players were thinking this book was gonna be about. I thought it would be all about collecting a cure for the piggy infection. But as it turns out, it might be more about collecting our friend from the evil Silver Paw gang. I can't wait to see more, sub. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time, sub.